The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Delivering Return on Investment to End Clients Through Online Focus Groups and Interviews.
Muted.
And
Unmuted.
for the past 22 years, was I muted? Sorry, I'll start again here. Didn't realize I was muting. Welcome to the webinar, everybody, Delivering Return on Investment to End Clients Through Online Focus Groups and Interviews. My name is Garnette Weber, and I am the co-founder of itracks. After having worked with online focus groups and online interviews and mobile research over the past 22 years, I am super passionate about helping people to create value to drive their research in online environments. With the recent world environment and changes, this is becoming ever more important. We have a lot of groups moving to online environments, and in this period of uncertainty, we want to make sure that we're driving that value for all the companies that need those precious insights to move forward. So we really want to make sure that the projects are providing that value. All right, so when I look at return on investment, when I look at the thousands of focus groups that have taken place, there's a lot of projects that have been absolutely amazing. They I hear numerous client stories on the amazing insights that have been derived from the research, and we can really see that impact coming through on the studies. And there's also projects that unfortunately haven't gone so well, and we really need to put through analysis and look at what is the commonality of those amazing projects. And so one thing that I can say is there are certain foundational components that are very critical to creating value in online focus groups. And after some reflection, I've narrowed it down to these areas that I want to focus on. And I see them as the foundation of a house. If you've got a good foundation, you can create an amazing structure on top of it. If you have cracks in any one of these pillars, your project, it's very hard. It can erode the value of the entire project. And so it's really important that you get every single one of these items right to create that return on investment. So we're going to talk about these, and then we'll talk about the return on investment that can come when we get these right. All right, so the first one that we're going to talk about is methodology selection. So when looking at online methodologies, there are a ton available, and there's different questions you have to ask yourself. So I guess the most obvious one is, do you need to see their participant faces? Do you need to see that moment that they interacted with the stimuli? Is that facial body language important for you to drive the insights? On the other hand, maybe having more of a time where you present information to the participants, they have time to reflect and then post those responses at a time that's convenient might be ever better for the topic that you're trying to research. Does the topic need to have that live real-time probing to elicit emotion, or would the participants be able to respond to posted questions and again having that time to reflect? Some online topics are more conducive to that facial and interactive model, and some are more anonymous and sensitive. I recall a time we did a study for a competitor, Viagra, and it was best done in a chat-based group with anonymous handles for the participants. So really think through your topic. What environment would create that ideal interactive environment to be able to engage the participants and elicit the information that you need? Another key component to online, just like offline, is what is the observer experience? Where are these observers located? How are they going to engage? Do you want to create that video interactive experience so they can bond? Or are they super time pressed and it's better to have an online discussion where they can check in and provide comments as it goes? And how much interaction is ideal between the participants, the researchers, and observers? Different methods have different interaction styles. So now I'm going to go into a few different types of online methodologies, and we'll talk about the differences and the value of the different methods that are available. So I like to categorize them into two groups. We have real-time and asynchronous groups. So real-time groups would include the video and text chat focus groups. And so those would have multiple people on at the same time interacting in real time. And then from the interview standpoint, we've got video interviews and telephone interviews. The other group is the asynchronous, which would be the online discussion boards and communities. All right, so first we're going to touch on the asynchronous online discussion boards and communities. So with the asynchronous groups, these can be either short-term, typically a few days, and they can extend 3 to 6 months. We've got one that's just finishing up a year here. And with these, you get that real back and forth, and you get a very you can have a very engaging experience. This is an ideal method for time challenge participants, so professionals, people that have multiple demands. They can log in at the time that they would choose. For an online discussion board, a short one, we typically say 1 to 2 times a day that they would respond. For the communities, it might be 1 to 2 times per week. It works really well for phased research. I've seen a lot of studies where they'll do a phase 1, implement those research recommendations, and then bring that same group back and do a phase 2 to then iterate and evolve the concept. This is an ideal platform if you want video collection or even media. Participants can post images, upload videos from their phone, or they can record right within the app to post videos or within their webcam. Out of all of the platforms, this gives you the most in-depth information. All right, there's also some great reporting benefits. You can run transcripts at any time in the study, and you can also then do some great video clips. This shows our tagging process, where if you see a great moment, you can create a tag and then adjust the endpoints, and then after that you're able to then sort and filter all those tags to create a highlight reel. The great thing about the board is that there's a fully integrated mobile app, and the app is fantastic for studies where you want to catch that moment or that particular environment. People often send participants on missions. It might be to a store. It might be using a product that they've recently purchased. We do lots of vacuum and floor cleaners and cleaning studies, things like that. And the great for diary studies, you have the option of having the participants fully interact, or they can be more in a diary mode where it's private and it's just between them and the researcher to do more of an ethnography type of engagement. The app is interesting in that once you download those questions, you actually don't even need internet. So this works well for areas where the internet is a little bit spotty or inconsistent. So with that, they can make a post, and then if there's insufficient internet access, or you don't want to be using the user's data plan, when the phone does go into a Wi-Fi zone, it will then upload those videos. The board does allow that real-time interaction, probing, and engagement and comments from the observers. All right, so that's the asynchronous. Now we're going to talk about the synchronous or live focus group options. So we've got, again, the video chat and the text chat. So the video chat, obviously, you've got the streamed videos, and you're going to see those facial expressions. So this is where you want to have that chance to see the nonverbal cues and reactions. The clients can still provide feedback in the backroom. They have a separate phone line, so they can talk amongst themselves and they can still hear what's going on in the main focus group room. And then there's a typing text area where they can send messages to the moderator to provide feedback and direct the research if needed. All of our platforms provide automated recording, and those recordings are available after, and there's flexible options for reporting as well. With this methodology, the part that our clients really appreciate is the dedicated technical support and host. The precious moments when you're incentivizing and have the clients in the back room, every minute in the focus group counts. And so our dedicated technical support and host will do their absolute utmost to get everyone connected and ready to go so that your group can start on time. All right, itracks Chat. This is an amazing product. I was talking to one of our longtime customers, and he indicated that if he's got a really packed discussion guide, this is the methodology to go. People can read and type faster than they can speak, and it's you can post a question, and then there's an efficiency in that everyone can think and process and communicate simultaneously, so that information can flow quickly. Where in a face-to-face or a video group, you have to take turns and listen to each other, and that whole sharing period is more time-consuming than obviously typing your responses. Again, it's great for sensitive topics. You can have their name, you can have a first name or even a fictitious name. And it's becoming very popular for collecting research on live and streamed events. So we've done professional sports events, political speeches and events, and you can have the people discussing that. The streaming is in the whiteboard area here. You can have any media uploaded questions or streamed events, and then the discussion takes place here, where the people can respond to the probes from the moderator. Okay, so that's the options for online focus groups. Now I want to move into the methods that you can look at if you're going to go the route of in-depth interviews. So we have two options: video in-depth interviews or phone. And last month we did some research on in-depth interviews to help understand the needs and help to design and improve our software. And in that, I asked researchers, both researchers within end client organizations and agencies and moderators, I asked them to compare video in-depth interviews and phone in-depth interviews. And it was a rating scale where they could indicate slightly better, significantly better, moderately better, and no difference between the two. And so they could indicate which methodology was better on a number of different components. So participants chose video IDIs as being moderately or significantly better for participant engagement, quality of reporting deliverables, quality of insights, and the ability to understand participants. Participants chose phone IDIs as moderately or significantly better in their ability to easily connect, price, willingness to participate, and audio quality. So itracks, we also did some qualitative interviews, and I just want to share one of those a couple sound bites from that here. All right, so just 1 second, I'll play this video. Okay, so next I want to mention that itracks has recently released a brand new video IDI platform. And the platform is really driven to address a lot of the things that came out in our research. So the platform is made so that there's no downloads and plugins. And again, that helps to get the interview started right on time. We did a lot of corporate firewalls or people's computer setups are sometimes preventing downloads for security reasons. And so by having it browser-based, they can just go right into the interview. There's enhanced backroom capabilities, creating a real video experience for the client observers, and high quality video recordings. They're all in HD, which improves the interview quality, but also the outputs. And it also works with time selection, which I'll show you shortly. Here's the moderator view. So yeah, this is the participant view. So the participant would be in the large area and the moderator on the side. You can go into text chat areas as well if you want to converse back and forth. It does allow for sharing media through the whiteboard. You can do a screen share with the participant and engage it in that way as well. This would be the moderator view. You can see the participant in the big area. This would be the moderator, and then this would be a mosaic. There's 6 observers in this case, and you can see their streamed video as well. And then this is there's a number of areas that you can do your audio, video controls, see profiling, and then here we've got the backroom chat. So if you can toggle up the audio so you can hear what's going on in the back room, or you can toggle that off so that it's not distracting in your conversation with the participant. And if that's the case, the back room can send you messages through chat as well. The other form of interviews is the phone IDI. And what we find is by having a media view, it really helps with the engagement. So itracks phone IDI it's got a web view, and it's also got the phone and with the integrated back room. So the observers can have a call and they can talk amongst themselves, and that won't be heard by the participant and the moderator. There's high quality audio recordings that are available right after the sessions. And here's the picture of the media view. So any media, images, videos, ads, concepts, that can all be shared for the participant and moderator to discuss. All right, so just to give a summary of the different methods, so we've got our to interview, the phone and video, and going through some of the benefits. All of the software is available in multiple languages. And yeah, there's pros and cons, and that comes down to developing the return on investment. If you need that face-to-face interview, if that quick, easy, convenient connection that you get with the telephone is preferable, then that can drive different choices on the methodology. If you're going the route of focus groups, you've got the three options: text-based, the video-based, or the asynchronous or community type where there's ongoing posting. All right, so if we think of those foundational blocks, once you've got the right methodology selected, next is time to do a great job of getting the right participants recruited at the right time. There's a number of methods of recruiting, phone, online, and in person as well, that you can then move them into online environments. What we're finding is, I was at a conference recently, and there was a presentation on our online survey panels. Do they create good qualitative research participants? And in that presentation, they came to the conclusion, no. Now, I do beg to differ. I believe that there are a percentage of quant panelists that make great qualitative participants, but it is a smaller percentage, and you have to go through a process in order to find them. And so there is a number of steps that need to take place. There are a multitude of other sources, such as social media, phoning, and different ways. Typically, with those types of methods, there is some type of quantitative screening process to make sure that they meet the criteria that you're looking for in your study. And then we like to integrate them into, for efficiency, and again, not to use up precious project dollars on too much labor, we like to efficiently move them through the screening and then integrate them right into the qualitative software. So I'm going to show you an example of that here. All right, so this would be a typical screening process. This is where you might check on age, gender, household income, etc. So I'm just going to move through here. And then the participant, after they complete their screening process, you might ask them a survey question indicating, hey, would you like to participate in an online focus group? And if they choose to do so, then obviously you would describe perhaps the incentive or the different parameters around doing the group. And if they choose to do so, then you can indicate that, that you would have a focus group option coming along here. All right, so once the participant, it's important that they go through a registration process. And so once, I think I have a dead link here. I'm gonna do this again here. There we go. There we go. I set it up in advance, and now that I've got a fresh link, it's working. Okay, so once they've been invited to the focus group, they've agreed that they want to participate, then they can go through a registration process. So here they can set a password. And I like to have here they have to select their time zone, which is really helpful so that all the information comes in the right time, and we don't have any time except phone number is optional. And then this is a really important part for the security, and many projects have GDPR or HIPAA compliance requirements. And so here you can provide the privacy information that's necessary. You can also make it very clear that the information being presented is confidential. So all the terms of use are available there. They can review those. And then if they're in agreement, they can accept the terms of use so that you're fully compliant. And these are available later, again, if they would like to read them again. Oop, I had a password error. All right, and so then once they've registered, it takes them automatically right into the itracks Go platform. And here, the moderator that will be conducting the interviews has already set up the times that they have made available to interview participants, and the ones that have already been selected will have disappeared. So I can look through and decide. If none of them work, I can go on standby for one that might work, but if I'm able to do an interview then, I can go next, and then it's going to confirm my interview. I'll save, and then I'll receive an automatic email confirmation with a calendar item that I can then download, and it'll be all scheduled in my calendar. And if I were to log in again, I've got my password and everything from my registration. And when I log in, I can just click on my interview activity and proceed. Now, the nice thing, this does show the itracks Go platform. In some studies, there could be multiple activities. Maybe I have a board and an interview, or maybe there was a focus group and I chose a few select participants that I wanted to do those in-depth interviews. So when the participants, any user, the moderator, the participants, or the clients, when they log in, it's a single sign-on and they can see all the research activities right in their project here. All right, so what we're finding since we've implemented time selection about a year ago, we are having a huge improvement in show rates, way less confusion on time zones and all those different things. And since the participants are selecting their time, we find that they're in a better place to engage and improve. There's a better likelihood that they'll come. All right, another aspect to the recruiting is, especially if thinking for your return on investment, if you need high quality participants, you might be screening for the right participant. Make sure that they are actually matching the demographics. Sometimes in quant panels there can be cheaters, and so we find that a video articulation screening question is excellent. So you can sometimes then screen for those really critical screening components to make sure they are who they say they are in the screener. The other part that's important is the technical checks. So we can do these manually, but we're finding more and more we can move to automated technical checks. And so with that, the participants are asked to record a video and go through that technical piece. And if, say, their video camera or their microphone is not working, that'll become obvious in the technical check. And that will then eliminate trying to sort all those issues out right when the interview is supposed to start. So again, we're trying to preserve those precious interview moments. And it also can help, we can re-recruit, and if someone doesn't have the equipment that's necessary, we're able to be proactive and manage that. So now I'm going to show you, this is a web intercept. So this is getting into the concept of having the right participant at the right time. So here, this is a mock online store, and let's say that I was purchasing some shoes. I select my shoe, I have a look at it, and then I decide, nah, I don't really want to do this. Cancel the purchase. This is a great moment. So if you were to ask me next week why I didn't or purchase a shoe, I may not remember this moment. So it's very key that you research the person in the moment, or that you're finding the right people. So I would be a key person, perhaps for an insight related to this. And so if I'm willing to do a one-on-one engagement at this time, then we can just continue. And again, in order to be compliant, I would then have to register for the project. Hopefully I can do my password here. Actually, I need a number. And again, select my time zone so everything is showing up in the proper time. Terms of use, review those and agree to them so that everything's GDPR compliant. And then that will again bring me to right into the itracks Go research platform. And from here, I'm able to see an actual live interview, and I come into that interview and I can give that moment to moment feedback as to why I didn't make that purchase. So this is showing the itracks video IDI software. I can join the call, and I can see that the moderator is on the call and ready.
Hi, Garnette.
Hello. All right, and so then that would show the HD video stream of the itracks IDI software. That leg is the go-to meeting, so. Okay, so again, that web Intercept is a really exciting offering, and we're getting some great feedback just to get the right people at the right time. Next, so thinking back to those foundational pillars to successful research, the next one would be incentives. And incentives are a critical component to a successful research project. There's many things to consider. So what we're finding is incentives can be slightly less for online groups if you're allowing the person to be in the convenience of their own home or workplace and having that flexibility. However, there are a number of considerations. You have to think through the amount of time. So if you're looking to engage them on numerous occasions, say in an online discussion board, you have to think of the total time that's required. Many researchers are sending participants on missions. So if you're expecting them to say, go to a store or a location and look at something, look at a package or make a purchase or go through some type of experience and capture that, say on the mobile app and upload that, then again, that is a time they're going to have to potentially go through transportation, parking, all those experiences. You have to think of the expenses that they may incur. And then the other thing that sometimes for long-term communities, there could be other aspects to participating. And so sometimes incentives can be slightly lower. But with those, to help engage and incentivize, you may even think of other creative methods. We've seen a lot of success with having, say, monthly draws where the community participants would be eligible. Or we can put in a leaderboard where they get points for different to encourage, say, video posts or more frequent posting. And so there's lots of creative options that you can use. We have found that participants have been very motivated by the automated incentives, so the digital incentives, and if they can receive those right after the group and be able to implement them, they feel effectively rewarded, and they don't email you to find out where their incentive is while the mail is in process. So I encourage you to consider those automated incentives. They're quite popular with the group. And in a community that I have been involved with, where we've had people doing weekly posts for the past year, the digital incentives really motivated the group, and they felt like they were instantly rewarded. And so when they get that monthly incentive, we can see a real uptick in the activity. All right, so the next pillar is discussion activities and reporting. So we have had a ton of questions in the past week on what types of activities. We have a lot of researchers that are moving face-to-face groups to online environments for health and safety reasons, and so they're asking, how can I replicate this in an online environment? And in many cases you can, or there may even be new and advanced ways that you can do online that are new and innovative. So I just wanted to go through a few examples. In this area, participants were asked to highlight certain words, and here we're seeing the frequency that different words were highlighted. And this is a different form of reporting where we're able to see more of a word map. The larger words were selected more frequently than the smaller words. And a very popular activity is the markup exercises. So you can have images, and they can click on an area of the image, perhaps give a emotional reaction to it and an explanation for that can be added. And again, these activities, all of these activities can be in any of our products, because all of our products have a whiteboard area that these activities can take place in. So this shows the participants have been asked to click on the image, provide feedback, and then this would show the reporting. So you can see the areas that were selected more frequently and less frequently by the different coloring on the report. Lots of different types of activities. This would show a drag and drop, a card sort, collaging, all those types of things that you can do, and those can again be posted in the whiteboard area of any of the products. All right, the next pillar that in our foundations of success to be able to drive ROI is the moderation. Now, I am not a moderator, so I've seen a lot of groups and seen a lot of highly effective moderators, and so I've seen how some amazing moderation has taken place. itracks does have a network of very qualified, competent moderators with expertise in a variety of industries and that have that online expertise. So if you ever need an online moderator, please reach out to us and we can connect you to someone that has excellent experience and be able to execute the online project effectively. Now, the one area that of moderation and for the few groups that I've done for itracks and then also in getting feedback from moderators, it's really critical to know the platform, know where everything is, and a platform that has everything on one screen that you can easily access is really important. And I encourage you to program your questions into the discussion guide on the screen because that allows you to keep your eyes on the screen. And what that does is helps you to maintain eye contact with your research participants. So when I see moderators looking down at a paper, again, they're taking their eyes off the screen and not looking at the camera, which is giving the participants feedback and an engaging experience. So I'm just going to show a quick video here that shows, this is our new video IDI, and it just shows how all the different components are on one screen and you can access them all just with one click. Okay, great. So again, that's the foundational components critical to creating value. We've covered all of those. So once you get those well, then you're ready to drive on to the return on investment. So we've got a number of advantages to the new Video IDI product, which gives the high definition single stream recordings. And so they are individual feeds at HD 720p, which allows you to do video highlight reels that are high quality and can be shown on a TV. And they're at 60 frames per second, which is approximately what the eye can interpret. And so those high quality video feeds were the #1 feature that was reported as beneficial in our survey. You can see that here for Video IDI products. The reason that, another reason why the high definition screen recordings are really important is that you can use them for analysis and reporting, such as if you want to do facial analysis and be able to chart different emotions that are taking place. You need those single feed high definition video outputs. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the observer experience. So by creating a positive and interactive experience for observers, you can really create a lot of return on investment. We've heard many researchers indicate that the qualitative process can be very iterative, and having that researcher group involved, and especially with the online, making it easy for them to connect, can be a very engaging experience for them. So the new Video IDI allows that whole video piece to take place during the group, and that can also take place during focus groups as well. And this shows, this is a different observer experience. So this is the observer experience in our online chat focus groups. So again, it's text-based, the back and forth. And I just wanted to speak to a case study. I did a webinar with one of our clients from a large energy company, E.ON, and they actually had 1,000 observers in the backroom. They had moderators for the backroom. And it was for a customer immersion project and initiative. And I have a quote here: customer immersion gives our team members the emotional intelligence to make changes based on what their day-to-day metrics are telling them. And in this situation, Sue told me a story about a customer immersion experience where they had a client talk about their experience in the focus group. And the evening after the research, the CEO called her and said, "Oh, I just can't stop thinking about that client. Can we send her some flowers, do some things to make it right?" And she said, that's the point. You have many customers that are having that same experience, and now I get it. And so even though you may see quantitative data, by actually connecting your employees with the research experience, it can help create a full understanding of the experience that clients are having. All right, so to summarize, delivering return on investment through online qual. So we had our foundational pillars that are important to be able to drive value. So the appropriate methodology selection, recruitment, quality, timing, having the appropriate incentives, and the scheduling to help to ensure show rates, and have it again tying to that timing of when the participant is going to engage, research activities and reporting, and then moderation. And then lastly, once you have those foundational pillars, helping to drive return on investment through fast, high quality insights and reporting, and an observer experience. Okay, so questions?
Hey, Garnette. It doesn't appear that we have any questions at the moment. Oh, there was one that just popped up about the word translation, some of the reporting features. Are those available during the group at some point, or are those reports created after the group has finished?
All right, so for the itracks chat, so the text-based focus groups and the board, the transcripts from those groups are available immediately after or even during the group. So you can download those transcripts. And again, they can be filtered by different subgroups and participants. So those are available immediately. Those, if they need to be translated, there would be a delay in that they would have to be, the most would be 2-day delay in having those translated. For the video-based groups and the video content, then those, they can be transcribed, and there's you have the option of machine or human, a human being of better quality, and then then those can be translated as well into the language of choice, and there would be about a 48-hour delay on that. All right.
Can you talk about how to get high quality respondents?
Yes. So again, it's important that you're coming from a high quality source. And so that'll depend a lot on the research. That could be a client list. It could be a list of panelists, a panel company. We have a lot of great panel companies. We have strong partnerships with panel companies all over the world. And so we're able to source tons of great panelists through those, and we can again, if it is a more of a quant related, the importance to get the high quality panelists is you have to do some screening and processing. So maybe a video articulation question, it could be a technical check. There's sometimes phone confirmations. So there's a lot of different techniques that can take place, but again, it's a process. Leave enough time for those different steps to take place to assure the quality.
Maybe we can speak about confidentiality. We're getting a lot of questions about stimuli that's being shown that's confidential, and whether or not they can capture that information.
So the software is display only. There's no way that they can download anything from the software. And I showed the registration process that takes place during the recruit. And so as participants register, they need to agree. And in that, there are very clear confidentiality requirements. If it's super confidential, we have done a more significant agreement, really emphasizing that through DocuSign, where that becomes part of the recruit process, where they have to actually sign it with a signature, and so that can be done. So we've done everything we can from a technology standpoint. That being said, we can't prevent someone from taking a screen capture or taking a photo with their phone or something along that line. So I think everything's being done that can be done, but again, that would be a little bit of a risk, I would say.
It looks like there's a lot of flooded questions that are coming in right now. So I think it may be best to take a lot of the questions offline. Unfortunately, due to the mass quantity of questions, I don't think it's going to be suitable to try to field all of the possible questions.
Okay. All right. So the here, I'll just see here. There are a number of questions. I'm just browsing through them here. There's a number of questions regarding pricing. So we don't discuss pricing during webinar engagements, but please feel free to reach out to us, and we can provide pricing information and get back to you with a proposal. If you have a specific project in mind, we can definitely provide you that pricing information. Looking here, there's a number of questions We have 150 people on this webinar, so there's a lot of questions here. The questions around software, detailed software trainings and demonstrations. So the best way to learn the very specifics about the projects and the software is to go to www.itracks.com. And on our website, we have a number of sessions like this where you can sign up to do an interactive training session, or you can contact us and we can send you a link to see a video of a training session to help you learn and be able to find out the details of being able to run a group or an interview in one of the specific products. There's a question here. A stimuli of a video, and they're asking for reporting of that. So itracks does have a video slider activity that can be posted in the whiteboard. So for that, you can have you can play a video, and over the course of the video, there's a slider that they can move with their mouse back and forth to show, say, positive or negative. And there is reporting that will show the accumulation of all of that information. Oh, there's some questions around integrations. So that can be a great value add in integrating. So I showed you the integration between survey software and our platform. So we do have an API. itracks does integrate with most online survey platforms, and you can then you set up the project in itracks Go, and in the project you can take a little bit of code that can then go into the survey on the last question. And so then when the person advances through your survey, they can automatically integrate into itracks qualitative platform. So that can be a really efficient method of recruiting and screening. And so that's one integration. There are other integrations that can take place, obviously, with the whole, the software it integrates with email platforms and can send calendar items that will integrate with most of the common calendar items. And the other big piece around integration is that itracks, all of our qualitative activities they all are hosted in the itracks Go platform. And so with that, because they're all in one place, you can have integration of multiple qualitative activities. So you could have a group of participants that could do multiple interviews or other engagements. And when the client signs on, they can see all of the activities take place. Great. Lots of questions on incentive amounts. Again, if you contact us and have a project in mind, and if you let us know the participants, then we would be able to give you an estimate of the number or the amount that you should pay those participants for the time required for the research. Here's a question. What is the best way for a traditional face-to-face moderator to gain exposure and comfort level with the platforms in order to offer these services with confidence to their existing clients most familiar with traditional groups? I recommend, itracks provides free support, and we have a number, we often do free training sessions, but we are somewhat time limited. We have had a huge influx of people coming to us, and so we have a lot of pre-recorded training sessions, and we have a lot of group sessions that you can then add to our website or access from our website. But then once you've had some initial training, reach out to us and we will take you through a very well-designed onboarding process. And we do have a lot of operations staff that can help with that, and they have a lot of experience. And what I recommend is getting an itracks Go account, which is free, and then you can set up demo projects, which there's no charge for. So to be able to do it with confidence, set up a mock interview, set up a mock focus group or an online discussion board, and maybe with your other research colleagues, and go through, practice setting up questions and responding from the different user types, and go through that. And once you have that experience under your belt, you can speak to it and go through with confidence. We also have a number of web articles on our website on specific, like recommending, say, talking through your fingers, and there's a number of webinars that give lots of recommendations for different types of studies. Many of our clients have done webinars where you can see how they approach their studies, and our staff are very happy to provide advice. If you have an activity or maybe a discussion guide that you did in a more traditional face-to-face method, we can give recommendations on how you could ideally do that in an online method. Just checking through the questions here. For an asynchronous board, I recall some limitations in being able to ask ranking questions. Is this able to be addressed with respondent activities you described? Can you say more about the activities overall? So with because it's web-based and because we have a whiteboard within the board, any survey question, so if there is a ranking question or a card sort or a collage type or shelf set exercise, all of those can be done within the whiteboard of the software, so that as the participant is going through, they would see that whiteboard and then they can engage in that question. So there is a huge variety of ranking questions that can be done in the board, as well as all of the other products. The one thing with that, the reporting for that ranking question would be independent. It would be coming from the survey question, from the survey dashboard. So it's a little bit different. itracks platforms do have basic polling that are built right into the platform. So if you want to do basic polling questions, you can ask those. And then the advantage of that is you can then share them immediately to create that discussion where with a ranking question that's being done in a software outside of the platform, you may have to then display that report in a whiteboard to be able to create that engaging discussion about the results of the ranking question, if that makes sense.
Hey, Garnette, can you speak about, talk about the best practices for online moderating?
You bet, yes. So best practices for online moderating. So a few pieces. Definitely you want to take some time to familiarize yourself with the platform, but it is very intuitive and it is easier than you would think. If you're getting started, I think that it's very helpful to do a dry run, especially if it's going to be a live group. So our staff would be very happy to do that and set that up for you. So you can set up your interview or your focus group and do a dry run where you can have all of your media loaded, all of your questions, everything set up so that it's just posting it and you can go through and just make sure that it's all running smoothly. And so I would do that in advance. And then the other option is that if it is your first time, we have a number of clients that had asked, you know, can I co-moderate my first group with an experienced moderator? And we have a number of moderators that would be more than willing to provide that experience, so they can perhaps review your discussion guide, come into the group, help you moderate it, and then even give you some tips and recommendations on on the reporting end of it. So if that's a service that you would like, we can definitely help to facilitate that. Other things in terms of moderating, I think you have to think of how best to engage the participant. I've seen some very effective moderators in really leveraging the power of video. So if they're wanting their participants to post videos in an online discussion board, they go with a video question to help encourage them to see those videos and create that connection to the moderator. There is a lot of expression, especially with the millennial group, on text, and you can be very expressive because that a lot of the younger generation has grown up with a lot of text communication. They have a lot of capacity to be very expressive through the language that they're using, the characters, the different things, and so I encourage you to be very expressive through your text, whether it be capitalizations, different colors, things like that. And so from a moderation standpoint, that expression, connection, you can do the probing. I think being in discussion boards, especially logging in frequently, engaging, providing feedback, even encouragement to the participants will help to create their motivation and feeling like their opinions are valued, and that can create a great exchange. And then I encourage you, I think a very huge part of the value of Qual is that backroom experience. So being aware of your observers and creating a process that it makes it easy for them to engage, and then having that communication during the qualitative process so that they can feel part of it and they can influence it and experience it and really get that firsthand voice of the customer experience. Okay, we are at the end of our time today. I want to thank everyone for participating in our webinar. I encourage you, if you have any additional questions, there's a number of questions we weren't able to get to, but we will reach out to you and address those separately. And thanks a lot, and I wish you all the best in creating value in your online qualitative projects. Thank you.